For more than 40 years, People Incorporated has been an integral part of the greater Fall River community. Creative, collaborative, and invested in the region, we have consistently developed supports to make our community a better place to live. Dedicated to a better future for all our citizens, we are People on the Move. Hi, I'm Bob Canuel, President and CEO of People Incorporated, welcoming you to another edition of People on the Move. Today we're going to be talking about the Family Advocacy and Community Education Center, located at 170 Pleasant Street in Fall River, and we will have several guests that will be joining us in a few moments. But first, I'd like to introduce my co-host for the day, Jenny DeBlasi, who is the Director of the Family Advocacy and Community Education Division at People Incorporated. Jenny, could you tell the audience a little bit about the FACE Center and what it does?
Sure. Well, the Family Advocacy and Community Education Center provides a wide array of services and supports for children and families living in the and around the greater Fall River area. And the services include anywhere from resource referral all the way up to intensive case management type services that can be in the family's home, as well as peer parent support groups, social opportunities for families, and educational opportunities as well.
Oh, that's great. I know a huge part of what we've tried to do with the community is to be better collaborators and partners with other groups, strengthen what we can provide. And I know you're working on something that's incredibly exciting in terms of developing satellite offices throughout the community. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. It's very exciting, actually. We're partnering with the Fall River School Department, specifically the Doran Elementary School, to work on setting up a satellite FACE center at the school so families of the children who attend there can access services, as well as partnering with Health First Family Health Center.
Oh, that's great stuff. You know, I know in the community, the more that we can have the nonprofit and government and business community work together, the better the community will be. And in a few moments, we're going to have our mayor, Will Flanagan, join us to talk a little bit about his role in the FACE Center and his vision of what collaboration can do for the community. We're honored today to have as our first guest of People on the Move, Attorney William Flanagan, the mayor of the city of Fall River. Mayor, thank you for joining us today.
Bob, Jenny, thank you for having me.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. Mayor, we know that we live in difficult economic times, and as a part of that, the FACE Center has striven to try to be as collaborative as possible to maximize the resources that we can make available to the community. Can you speak a little bit about your feelings about the importance of collaboration in Fall River?
I'm a strong advocate for collaboration, especially during the difficult economic times that we are experiencing. The city of Fall River has historically relied upon local aid from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to help provide services to its citizens. However, over the last several years, our city has seen significant cuts to local aid. So when those cuts occur, it becomes more difficult to provide the essential services back to the citizens of Fall River. That's why you have to get creative and start thinking outside of the box. And one of those creative avenues is collaboration between public-private partnerships. And the city of Fall River has been uniquely situated throughout the last 18 months, where it's been able to partner with a number of nonprofits or social agencies, and People Inc. Being one of our strongest partners in the community.
Mayor, we're actually, through the FACE Center, we're actually working on a number of collaborative projects with the Fall River School Department, namely setting up satellite FACE centers at the Doran and possibly the Viveris elementary schools. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's an excellent idea, and the Doran Elementary School and the Viveris Elementary School, two schools that are in need of a hand up. And I recall a study, and I believe it was the most disciplined action of a student in the 1950s was chewing bubble gum. Obviously, those days have changed, and students are going into the classroom with a number of social issues. Some of them are dealing with homelessness in their family. Others are dealing with alcohol or drug abuse inside their family. So it's becoming extremely difficult for a student to go to school and just be 100% focused on their schoolwork. And both at the Doran Elementary School and the Viveris Elementary School, we're bringing a number of social services inside of the classroom to act as a safety net for those students. And in both schools, we're reaching out to the nonprofit agencies, People Inc. being one of our strongest advocates with inside the school system, to make sure that the student knows that those classrooms are safe, that they know there's social services that are available to them in their time of need. And the ultimate goal is to educate the whole child, to make sure that once that student leaves the 5th grade and goes on to middle school and then goes on to high school, that they're getting a solid foundation in their education. And it's very important that we provide every resource we can to the student to help them in their educational process.
You know, I think back to when you were candidate Flanagan, and you and I had a number of discussions about your vision of trying to provide in the various neighborhood supports for students, as well as supports for the families, because we know it's not an isolated situation. We have to be able to address the needs of the student, as well as very often the needs of some of the other family members. You've made a financial commitment to the Faith Center, which we greatly appreciate. We've been able to leverage that commitment you've made with other partners, so that we've been able to build a very strong start to the Faith Center, which we certainly hope will grow and improve. Could you talk a little bit about your feelings about the financial commitment and what you feel as though it is given back to the city, and your thoughts about how we may be able to make future financial commitments together?
The City of Fall River utilizes CDBG funding, which stands for Community Development Block Grant Funding. And that funding is used for a number of essential programs throughout the City of Fall River. It helps keep the doors of our library open. It helps keep our senior centers open. We utilize CDBG funding for our police walking beats in the Flint and the downtown areas of our city. And it's also used to fund great programs like the Faith Center. And this money is really to help build up communities. And this money right now is under attack in Washington, D.C., and it's estimated that there is going to be cuts to this funding source. And that would be detrimental to cities and towns throughout our nation, especially a city like Fall River, which relies heavily upon this funding to provide essential services to our citizens. But whether it's the Faith Center, public library, or a senior center, we're seeing our return in investment pay off. You can see great things going on with inside these buildings, especially the Faith Center. And just to give you some quick statistics, 1 in 5 people in Fall River live below the poverty line. Our average single income is $15,000 or less, and 13% of our population or less has a bachelor's degree or higher. And unfortunately, we have one of the highest unemployment rates in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. All of those factors lead to depression inside of a household, leads to drug abuse and alcohol abuse. So it's important that we have social services like People Incorporated and like the Faith Center to act as a safety net and to provide services to people in their time of need, to help people, give them a hand up, and get them out of the depressed state that they're currently in.
Well, thank you for those thoughts, Mayor. I wish that we had much more time to share with the mayor today, but we certainly will invite him back at some future show. Mayor, we thank you so much for your commitment to People Incorporated, to the Faith Center, and to the residents of the city of Fall River, and appreciate you being with us.
Bob, Jenny, thank you for having me, and it's easy to support great programs like People Incorporated that are doing excellent things within our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're very happy today to have as our second guest Bob Horn, the Executive Director of the Greater Fall River United Way. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Pleasure to have you.
Bob, the United Way has provided funding for the Faith Center in order to be able to provide home health aid trainings at no cost for Fall River residents. Can you speak about the commitment of your organization to meet the job training needs of the city?
Well, I think that job creation is probably one of the most important things in our community right now, considering the fact that the economy is dragged on at low levels for so long. Certainly a need, and I think that People Incorporated's ability to be creative, particularly in this particular area, to help train people to get out there and work again, I think is very important, and we're committed to helping that process.
Thank you. The United Way has also been a supporter of the Face Food Pantry located in downtown Fall River. What are you seeing in terms of increasing needs for food in the community?
Well, we've been seeing getting a lot of phone calls, seeing the need in the community, and certainly you've been able to identify for us the need out there with the FACE program, areas that we're not able to see. We have the ability to get feedback from you and make a commitment for food programs in the community, and we're proud to be able to do that.
You know, Bob, I've been so happy to have United Way support over the years for several of the People Incorporated programs. And I know we had a number of discussions at various meetings with you, your staff, the board of directors about the importance of really reaching out at a neighborhood level to be able to address what has become a multitude of needs within the family structures. Could you talk a little bit about, you know, how your board feels about the idea of this kind of a collaborative effort and what it means to the United Way?
I can tell you that overall the board gets very excited about collaborations. People Incorporated and a few of our other member agencies have done an excellent job of working together. I think People Incorporated has been in a lead role in that process, being creative. I mentioned that earlier. I think the ability of your organization to bring in organizations that might be teetering on the edge a little bit, I think you've been very successful at that. And I think that certainly the staff and myself are committed to working with you and our board. And as I said, our board gets very excited about those opportunities, and you've done a great job.
They're so essential, and the ability of the United Way to support some of those collaborations, I think, is sort of the fuel for trying to create a community where collaboration becomes the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, and that's really the movement of the United Way. Less focus on the fundraising, although it's very important, but also getting involved in the community and being a part of the collaborative process that happens in the community. I think it's very important.
Bob, the FACE Center has integrated a lot of other programs into the center to be able to provide community-based services such as our diabetes education and support programs and our recreation programs for adults with developmental disabilities through our Diabetes Association and Community Supports Program, both of which the United Way support. Can you tell me why you feel that these programs are important for the community?
Well, they're certainly important, and I think that the United Way has been there from the beginning in some of these programs all along the way. And the variety of programs, the creativity, we talked earlier about the Community Impact Program, special program for new projects and new programs that are happening. You've been very active in that application process, and you can see from the results of the committee and the board making decisions to fund those special projects and programs, as well as the base funding that we do for the diabetes program and others that you do, that we're committed to doing it, and we recognize that People Incorporated is, again, a leader in that process.
Thank you, thank you. We had the mayor on a little earlier, and we talked about, you know, the importance of trying to maximize the resources that we have because we're all living in a dwindling economy. Any thoughts or ideas, or could you speak a little bit about how that may be impacting our local community and the United Way, and whether or not there's anything that the community can do to help strengthen the giving to programs such as ours?
Certainly an organization like the United Way basically is a fundraising organization, and we've seen contributions on the downside for the last couple of years. So we have to be creative, trying to identify the right organizations and the right programs to serve. On a national level, they're focused on education and health programs. And we think that that's a key core part of what we do in the community. Creativity is the key, trying to maximize the services with limited dollars, our ability to access grants and other funding sources different from our normal fundraising through corporations and payroll deduction gives us some opportunities to fund programs that we might not be able to fund normally.
I think one of the things that we've taken to over the last year or so in response to that is we've actually put together a grant writing team at the organization. Jenny has taken a leadership role in that because, as you say, I think it's so important for us to try to bring in other sources of revenue to help the many wonderful agencies that you work with to provide services that are so needed in the community. Do you see, to sort of wrap up, do you see a particular need or a particular set of needs right now that are of extra concern to the United Way?
Well, we've been focusing a little bit more recently on hunger needs and homeless in the community. We think that's a key part of what we need to do on part of the mayor's task force on homelessness. And that seems to be a focus in getting people out of shelters and into housing and programs like that. And finding that people have multiple needs. The homeless have needs for diabetes issues that you can help to handle, and substance abuse issues, and that's where the collaboration comes in. You have one person that needs multiple services, and it requires multiple programs and multiple agencies to handle those needs.
Well, thank you very much. Bob Horn, Executive Director of the United Way, a great organization, and I would encourage people to look at their website. Also, if you want to get more information about the Faith Center, please visit the People Incorporated website. Bob, thank you very much for being a part of this show.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final guest for today's show is Dr. Jack Sprague, President of Bristol Community College. Jack, welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for having me.
It's you know, as an alumni of BCC and a former adjunct faculty member, it's a pleasure to be able to do the kind of partnerships that we've been able to put together with Bristol Community College over the years. And I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of them that are a part of the Faith Center that we're operating in Fall River. As you know, BCC has been instrumental in helping us to get funding to do CNA programs, home health aid programs, and also operate our Human Service Academy.
Yes.
How important is it for you, for Bristol Community College, to have partners like People Incorporated?
Well, I think it's very important. Let me start with the two terrible statistics for our region, and that is the level of educational attainment and the level of literacy. And I tie it to these activities that you've just mentioned, the CNA especially, and the home health aid, because we get people involved in education. And from there, we can build the base that we so badly need in this region and certainly in the city. The Human Services Academy has gone really in great shape. We think we're very proud of the way we can build entry points for citizens to increase their educational levels and those levels of literacy that are, and in doing so, the collaborations that we have, especially with People Inc., are very crucial to this process.
Dr. Sprague, the home health aid program that we've been able to offer in partnership with Bristol Community College, we've done at our Faith Center downtown Fall River.
Yes.
In a setting outside of the the college's setting. How important do you think being able to reach residents in the community is in helping them reach their goals?
Well, I think almost everything I'm going to say today has to do with those two levels that we're trying to combat. And if we wait here at on Ellsby Street or at one of our campuses for people to come, it may not happen. They may not even know